So, how is everyone? I hope you're all well. I'm going to read something to you, and I want you to comment down below, email me with your thoughts and feelings about what I'm about to read. This talks specifically about the Nicola Bulley case, some of the things that happened during that case, how it was handled by the media, by the police, so on and so forth. And I read it yesterday and I read it again today, and let's get straight into it. And I want your true feelings. Certain cases capture the public's attention and generate an extraordinary volume of reportage. There's scrutiny, comment, and speculation. And the disappearance of Madeleine McCann while on holiday with her family in Portugal is one of the most striking examples. But more recently, the tragic murder of teenager Brianna Gray in a Warrington park, which led the public being asked by Cheshire Constabulary to avoid speculation online and be wary of sharing misinformation. Now, on the 27th of January 2023, Nicola Bulley's disappearance quickly became the subject of a very widespread and intense media coverage. How intense? Well, it reports that by the 21st of February 2023, the Daily Mirror had run 232 pieces about the matter, while The Sun had published 175 articles, and Mail Online 328. That works out at more than 13 a day. Now, inevitably, this led to viral coverage on social media. The unusual and mysterious circumstance of Miss Bulley's disappearance while walking her dog by the river in the Lancashire village of St Michael's-on-Wyre, coupled with the apparent lack of progress in finding her. This led to widespread speculation and some members of the public becoming personally invested in investigating the disappearance, with a number of self-styled social media detectives even taking it upon themselves to visit the location. Their activities, which encompass trespass on nearby properties and confrontational questioning of residents, caused considerable disquiet in the local community. In due course, this potent mixture was further enhanced when it was revealed that the police had classed Ms. Bulley as a vulnerable and high-risk missing person. The case was certainly of great interest to the public, however, it also raised important questions relating to the balance to be struck between public interest as opposed to the public's interest and privacy, and to what extent personal data should be protected during an ongoing police investigation. The challenges which the public's behaviour posed to the ongoing police investigation and Ms. Bulley's family are evidenced by Lancashire Constabulary's statements released on the 6th of February 2023. The speculation and comments on social media are both unhelpful to the investigation and, more importantly, hurtful for the family. 9th of February 2023, confirming that a dispersal order had been issued on St Michael's-on-Wye and that there were a number of grossly offensive comments being made on social media and elsewhere. And on the 10th of February 2023, we continue to see a huge amount of commentary from so-called experts, ill-informed speculation and conspiracy theories, which is damaging to the investigation, the community of St Michael's, and worst of all, to Nicola's family. On the 15th of February 2023, Lancashire Constabulary released another statement, this time seeking to expand on the vulnerabilities which Miss Bulley's had at the time of her disappearance in order to put an end to public speculation, namely that she had suffered with some significant issues with alcohol, which were brought on by her ongoing struggles with menopause, and that as a result of this, a response car staffed by both police and health professionals attended a report of concern for welfare at her home address in the first half of January 2023. That was the visit that some of you may not or may have heard about but didn't know what it was about. Misuse of private information. Whilst Miss Bulley's family confirmed that they were aware of the intent to release this information before the statement was published, the matter has since even attracted international headlines criticising the British police's decision to make information regarding Miss Bulley's issues with alcohol and struggles with menopause public. Many critics have described the Lancashire Constabulary decision to disclose Miss Bulley's private information as sexist, with figures such as Zoe Billingham, the chairwoman of an NHS National Health Trust and the former HM Inspector of Constabulary, describing the disclosure as a gross invasion of privacy. The questioning the relevance of a woman's reproductive status in such circumstances. Billingham has also voiced the concern that Lancashire Constabulary's decision may have a wider impact on women in the UK, as individuals may now be reluctant to report their mother or their sister as a missing person in the fear that the personal information is then released to the public for no apparent reason. Further criticism has been seen from the likes of Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, the Shadow Home Secretary, Penny Mordaunt, the Leader of the Commons, and Dame Vera Baird, former Victims Commissioner. Nazir Afzal, a former CPS Chief Prosecutor, has also opined that the only reason you should release information is to protect the public or to help you identify and find the person that's missing. That information didn't do either. Now, I think that a lot of us can agree that that information was released for one reason, and that was to take the focus away from where the investigation was, in the eyes of the public, failing, and try and steer them into a different direction to look at. Look, this isn't a murder or this kind of thing. This is someone who could pretend it very likely hurt themselves. On the other hand, Martin Underhill, a former senior detective and police and crime commissioner, said that information relating to Ms. Bulley's mental health in reference to her issues with alcohol is crucial, and he said that he was amazed this information has not been released earlier. Peter Faye, former Chief Constable of Greater Manchester Police, expressed his disappointment with the fact that certain politicians have not perhaps tried to give this a more balanced view, and explained that the police need the help of the public in providing information, and the public need to know if something serious has happened in their community. As pointed out by Jack Jenrick, Home Office Minister, we're not privy to the police's conversations with Nicola Bulley's family, and I don't think it would be right for us to speculate on why they've chosen to make those comments. The family have also said that they were aware in advance of the information which would be released, and that although we know that Nikki would not have wanted this, there are people out there speculating and threatening to sell stories about her. Investigations into the handling of the case have since been launched by the Independent Office for Police and Conduct, the IOPC, and the Information Commissioner's Office, the ICO, as well as an internal review by Lancashire Constabulary. On the 17th of February 2023, the Information Commissioner, John Edwards, released a statement in which he questioned whether the disclosure of Miss Bulley's private information contravenes UK data protection law, as whilst police can disclose information to protect the public and investigate crime, they would need to be able to demonstrate such disclosure was necessary. Was it necessary? So what personal information can and should the police disclose during high-profile investigations? In the Nicola Bulley case, the police understandably felt their investigation was being hindered by the uninformed mainstream and social media coverage and the intervention of outside experts. It was also adding to the dreadful toll on the Bulley family, not least because it included utterly baseless speculation about the possible involvement of her partner and members of the local community. This appears to have been what led to the decision by Lancashire Constabulary to disclose the personal information about Ms. Bulley in their statements. From a legal perspective, a claim for misuse of private information arises from the wrongful accessing or publication or threatened publication of personal information to third parties. In a claim for MPI, the claimant must establish that they had a reasonable expectation of privacy in relation to the information. Once that hurdle has been cleared, the claimant's right under Article 8 of the European Convention on Human Rights, the right to respect for private and family life, are engaged. A court will then conduct a balancing exercise to determine whether those Article 8 rights outweighed by any contravailing rights. Principle Article 10, the right to freedom of expression. There is no doubt that the information disclosed about Miss Bulley's issues with alcohol and struggles with the menopause was information in respect of which she had a reasonable expectation of privacy. The police, with the family's probable somewhat anxious acquiesced, presumably came to the view that unless this was put in the public domain, the speculation and disruption to the investigation and the family would have continued and intensified. Was this an appropriate and justified judgment call? Did the public interest in seeking to quell the activities of the keyboard warriors, the social media detectives, and the wide-ranging media coverage outweigh Miss Bulley's expectation of privacy in relation to the intensely personal information about her being communicated to the world at large? One could certainly make that argument. Did it advance the prospect of Miss Bulley being found? Probably not. The privacy concerns extended beyond the tragic discovery of Miss Bulley's body. In addition to the investigations into the actions of Lancashire Constabulary, Ofcom has requested explanations from Sky News and ITV in response to a complaint made by Miss Bulley's family about two broadcasters' conduct upon the discovery and identification of her body. In a statement released by Lancashire Police on behalf of the family on the 20th of February 2023, they referred to Sky News and ITV specifically, explaining that those broadcasters had made direct contact with the family after they had expressly asked for privacy, which is potentially a breach of Section 8 privacy of the Ofcom Broadcasting Code. Section 8.3 states that when people are caught up in events which are covered by the news, they still have a right to privacy in both the making and broadcast of a program unless it is warranted to infringe it. The ongoing investigations will no doubt reach conclusions about all of this. However, an important fact to note is that courts apply an intense focus on the facts of the case when determining privacy claims. This is recognition that in such personal matters, every case is different and fact-specific. Precedents are not set on the basis of the factual background, although the categories of private information have been well established. The facts in this and each sad case are likely to be unique. Different considerations will need to be taken into account in every other high-profile case which arises in the future. So, in a nutshell, what this is talking about is how is it right that a victim, like in this case, Nicola Bulley, should have her personal information shared with the world to stop people who are trying to push specific narratives based on absolutely ridiculous basis, like the amount of people who had gone balls deep in trying to push the narrative that her husband Paul had somehow done something to Nicola, and they'd the multitude of videos showing this, that, and the other, and the real thing is no matter how good the video is done and how good the video is put together, the elements contained within it that are done well are wrong. They're wrong, and all they're doing is playing on people's emotions and people's ability to be hook, line, and sinkered by a good storyteller. But at the end of the day, there was information about Nicola that was shared in retaliation, if you like, towards social media. And is that right? Where does it cross a line? When how much do the public need to know before it's too much? And I know we all want to know everything, but we are not... What people have got to get used to is the fact that nobody is obligated to tell us anything. Nobody is obligated to tell us anything. And even though we can look into things and we can look and try and decipher what things are going on and do certain things around these cases, but there is a point where there is a line, and if you're going to cross that line, it's questioning why you're crossing it. Is it because you truly want justice? Is it because you want success? Or is it because you want to hurt someone? Or is it just because you're stupid and you like making stuff up? But with regards to the Nicola Bulley case, did social media go too far? Were there channels out there who just went too far? That meant that Nicola Bulley's information is now out there for everyone to see. Her girls will grow up and they will see all this. Her daughter's friends will grow up and they will see all this. Is that fair? For a few clicks and a few views. Let me know down below, and I'll catch you all in the next one.